never know what to expect when you're a part of the UCLA Emergency Medical Services team, also known as EMS. The EMS team is made up of 20 EMTs who are emergency medical technicians that attend UCLA. Unlike paramedics, EMS is considered a basic life support unit that performs tasks such as CPR, oxygen administration, and spinal and bleeding control.
So UCLA Emergency Medical Services, or EMS, is a division of the UCLA Police Department. And our primary responsibility is to provide emergency medical response and transportation for the campus and the surrounding community.
Making it onto the EMS team is almost as difficult as the job itself.
You have to take a 120-hour EMT course, and I personally did that. We have a program here on campus at UCLA through the Center for Pre-Hospital Care that'll do that entire course for you in about a quarter. After that, there's a very intense hiring process with UCLA EMS, and that process has everything from a written test and a physical agility test to 2 different interviews, and then, of course, it's ultimately up to the hiring board there.
After passing the application stage, EMTs must participate in a rigorous training process. Only 2/3 of the potential EMTs make it through the stage.
The training program, once you get hired, is pretty intense as well. We put you through 20 weeks of additional training on the job. Some of it is classroom setting type lecture training and simulations training, and some of it is actual field training.
After all this training, it's no surprise that the average response time of the EMS is less than 4 minutes. And every second does count when it comes to saving people's lives.
Just a patient, a 21-year-old female, went into cardiac arrest. She had a heart attack, and so she lost her pulse and wasn't breathing or anything. And so really in our eyes and in anyone else's eyes, that's a patient who's dead or going to die. And just we worked on her for about 30 minutes and brought her to the hospital, and she was able to regain a pulse.
Regardless of how exciting or shocking a case is, many EMTs agree that just being able to help a patient is rewarding in and of itself.
Very recently, I had an 85-year-old man fall down the stairs at Poly Pavilion, and he looked okay. He was fine. He just was a little bit dizzy. His pelvis, was hurting him a bit, and he couldn't walk too well. So we said, we'll transport him. Things start clicking and things just don't feel right. Well, I found out recently from from one of the doctors that works at the ER that he ended up having a major bleed in his head that required brain surgery, and then he eventually was able to walk out. And being part of that situation, to where there are those subtleties and learning to look for those subtleties, that's very rewarding to know that if he had gone home, or if people hadn't flat X'd down, or we weren't there, he could have gone home and he would have died.
Juggling school and EMS may be demanding, but the passion many EMTs have for their work is what helps them to handle the workload and the unpredictability of the job.
If there's one thing this job teaches you, it's that nothing is certain. You have no idea what's going to happen 2 seconds from now, 20 minutes from now. So it's a lot of time management, it's a lot of looking ahead, and it's just a lot of really love for your job. I mean, you have to love this to be able to do it, and there's no other way that you can.
Regardless of what their major or their interests are, UCLA EMTs share the desire to help and to save people. Now, just because you're not pre-med doesn't mean you can't ride along as an EMT. For more information, visit their site at www.ems.ucla.edu. For Daily Bruin Television, I'm Jacqueline Hong.